What if the body, even now, is gently whispering that it's preparing to return home? In the twilight of a life well lived, the body often speaks in quiet ways, long before the final breath. These changes are not simply signs of decline. They are invitations. Invitations to love more deeply, to stay softer, to honor the sacred transition ahead. Today, let us walk tenderly through 5 signs the body may offer, so that we can meet the closing of a chapter not with fear, but with dignity, presence, and grace. 1. The weight that quietly leaves. There comes a time when the body, having carried so much for so long, begins to lay its burdens down, softly, gently, without ceremony. Clothes, once tailored to fit the curves of living, now slip more easily along the frame. Favorite dishes, once savored with laughter, lose their call. It isn't neglect. It isn't weakness. It is the body whispering, "I no longer need to hold so much, to stay so heavily anchored." Weight loss at this stage is not just hunger forgotten. It is life preparing for lightness, for letting go of what is no longer needed on the next part of the journey. Science, if we listen softly, reminds us. As metabolism slows, as digestion eases, the body turns its focus inward, tending to what matters most in its final artistry of being. Today, if you notice the loosened shirts, the unfinished plates, the quieter appetite, offer not urgency, not coaxing, but comfort. A favorite sip of something sweet. A shared small bite offered with love, not insistence. Because in these moments, nourishment is no longer measured in calories, but in kindness, in presence, in the gentle honoring of a body that has already given so much. Feed not just the body. Feed the spirit that is slowly learning to float free. 2. A tiredness that runs deeper than sleep. There is a kind of tiredness that no amount of sleep can mend. It is not weariness of the mind, nor reluctance of the heart. It is the body's soft surrender, the soul folding itself inward, gathering what remains for the journey still ahead. Simple things, a step to the window, a few spoken words, a lifted smile, ask more now than once they ever did. And it is not because the will is weaker. It is not because love for life has faded. It is because the body, wise and knowing, has begun its gentle retreat inward, guarding the final sparks like a flame cradled against the night. Science reminds us, in a whisper, as circulation slows and organs ease their faithful labor, the body turns its light inward, not as failure, but as final devotion. Today, if you find yourself before this quiet tiredness, do not rush it. Do not pull against it. Let the hours stretch soft and wide. Let conversations wander and drift without demand. Let presence, pure and simple, be enough. Because sometimes, love is not what we do, but how softly we allow being to be all that is needed. If something here touched a quiet knowing inside you, whisper, still listening below. Every noticing is a thread of love woven into the days that remain. 3. Minds that drift to quieter shores. There comes a season when the mind, having long carried the weight of memories, begins to set them down one by one, like pebbles returned to the river. It is not abandonment. It is not forgetting in anger or in loss. It is the mind softening its grasp, releasing the anchors of names, dates, unfinished conversations, and allowing itself to float where tides no longer demand precision. You may hear the same story told twice, see familiar faces searched for names, feel the stillness where once lively banter lived. But this is not absence of love. It is simply a turning inward, a quieting of the mind's busy shores as it drifts gently toward calmer waters. Science, too, speaks softly here. As circulation slows, as oxygen to the brain ebbs, the mind wisely rests from holding so tightly to every strand of knowing. Today, when you stand beside a mind drifting to softer places, do not call it back harshly. Do not anchor it with insistence. Instead, meet it where it floats, with smiles instead of corrections, with presence instead of demands, with love that remembers even when memory itself does not. Because even when the mind loosens its hold, the heart still knows its way home. 4. When healing no longer hurries. There comes a time when the body, once a tireless craftsman mending every tear, lays down its needle and thread, Bruises deepen like slow watercolors. A cough clings longer than it once dared. Tiny wounds, once forgotten in a day, now take their time, healing not in haste, but in the slow rhythm of surrender. This is not failure. It is not defeat. It is the body's way of whispering, I have fought long enough. I have earned the right to be gentle now. Science speaks quietly here. As the immune system softens its vigilance and circulation meanders with slower currents, the body, with wisdom, turns its strength inward, preparing not for more battle, but for peaceful rest. Today, when you see healing linger, do not rush it. Do not fill the air with urgency. Instead, offer stillness. Offer water, warm touch, quiet music. Offer presence that asks for nothing but to simply be there. Because sometimes the deepest healing left is not to mend what is torn, but to walk with tenderness beside a body that is learning how to let go gracefully. You are not here to fix. You are here to honor the beauty of slowing down. 5. The breath that grows quieter. At the edge of living, breath no longer marches forward with certainty. It drifts, it softens into a rhythm too light, too sacred for hurried hearts. The hands cool, the skin blushes into shades of blue and lavender, like twilight settling gently upon the body. There is no violence in it, no battle, only the quiet turning inward, a final remembering that life was never about how long we could outrun the night, but how softly we could return to its arms. Science reminds us in its gentlest voice, as the heart slows its faithful beating, and the lungs ease their endless tides, the body shifts, not toward collapse, but toward a quieter homecoming. Today, if you sit beside such a breath, become the steady shore it leans against. Raise the pillows to ease its journey. Quiet the room to honor its sacred labor. Place a hand lightly, not to awaken, not to instruct, but simply to say, I am here. You do not need to travel this part of the road alone. Because when breath grows quieter, what matters most is not how loudly we call them back, but how tenderly we walk beside them until the last, softest exhale finds its way home. To see these signs is not to lose hope. It is to step closer to the heart of living, where presence, not time, is the true measure of love. The body, in its quiet wisdom, teaches us even as it prepares to leave, that to be present, truly, softly, deeply, is the last, greatest gift we ever give. If any part of this quiet walk stayed with you, if something stirred in the stillness, even softly, stay. Stay with that stirring. Stay with the knowing that life, even in its closing chapters, still writes in you with gentle hands. If you feel called, walk this slower road with us. Not because time is urgent, but because presence is sacred. Subscribe not out of habit, but as a soft vow, to live these days awake, to honor what must be honored, to remember what must not be forgotten. And if you know someone standing close to the twilight of a life, send them this whisper, send them this light. Because even when breath quiets, even when steps slow, love endures, memory endures, you endure. Even now, even here, you are still weaving a story that no ending can erase.